guests, and audience who have come to be a part of this evening. We are filled with immense joy and great exultation to welcome you all. Someone has rightly said, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Believing what is aptly said, Junto's endeavors are always directed towards this. I feel privileged to extend my warm wishes to everyone who has gathered here for the celebration of Pragyan 2021, a spectacular 3-day annual fest of Junto, the Civil Services Society of SGTB Khalsa College. It's a pleasure to have everyone here as a part of this auspicious evening.
Junto is a learning platform for all those who aspire to join civil services and yearn to touch the zenith in bureaucracy. It is one of the prestigious societies in the Delhi University circuit, an innovative initiative of SGTB Khalsa College to create an ecosystem of passionate and enthusiastic civil services aspirants. We are glad to host Pragyan, the second edition of our annual fest, which is organized to boost children with valuable experiences and tinker their inquisitive minds. Extensive discussions with the dignified personalities are aimed to provide a rational vision to the various opportunity seekers.
Established in 1951, SGTB Khalsa College is amongst the oldest and the reputed institutes under the constituency of Delhi University, with great infrastructure and peerless teaching faculty. We would like to extend our hearty gratitude to the principal of SGTB Khalsa College, Dr. Jaswinder Singh, who has been the pillar behind this beautiful evening. His support and guidance has always helped us lead forward in the right path. We would like to wholeheartedly express our gratitude to him for his continuous involvement and gracing this auspicious occasion.
Moreover, we are extremely grateful to our society convener, Dr. Nachiketa, for all the efforts and time he has put in to establish this platform. Dr. Nachiketa has definitely been the torchbearer of our society. Had he not been with us, we wouldn't have reached this far. It's an incredible experience to work under his leadership and guidance. I would also like to extend my warm welcome to other faculty members as well for gracing this auspicious event with their delightful presence. Now, I would like to request Dr. Nachiketa sir to kindly take over the virtual stage and say a few words on this wonderful occasion.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My most dearest students of Junto, so very energetic, so very enthusiastic, and so very optimistic about life. You guys are incredible. You have given us the reason to, fight this unprecedented battle against Corona in a very vigorous manner, because we draw our strength and energy from you, our generation. Thank you very much, dear students, for your untiring effort to keep this banner afloat of Junto and doing all the good work you have been doing since last 2 years to establish the society as one of the best and most happening society. Today, in fact, I was talking to the principal in a meeting. There were other faculty members. There is a plan which I wanted to share with you. The college is trying to, put in place. The boys' hostel is going to be inaugurated shortly, maybe in first week, second week of February, and a designated, floor is being given to students to stay even after their graduation, who are coming from outside to prepare for civil services. And the college is trying to provide professional, you have taken the initiative, you have started the, whole effort, and we will take it to its logical end. You all are so very promising and so very bright, and I can see all of you in the top bureaucracy of the country in future. Thank you so much, and particularly the third year students. I'll be really missing them because they are going to go after a few months from college. But your mentorship is going to be there for your young youngsters and the students who are now going to be the real touch bearer of this Junto. Now I extend my hearty welcome to the guest speaker, our panelist today, Mr. Abhishek Singh and Mridula Kachua. If I'm sorry if I am pronouncing it wrongly, but I'm so delighted to welcome you both to this event today. This is a very important event in the calendar, annual calendar of the college, where this is the first society which is holding its annual event, 3-day annual event. It takes a lot to put in place such a elaborate event, and invite such distinguished panelists to speak to our students. I can see more than nearly 230 participants have joined today this event. It's a huge success for Junto, and the reason why we prefer to invite career civil service bureaucrats to talk to our students is that content wise, of course, I mean training wise, they are doing enough to make themselves well prepared for the examination. But to have such distinguished panels of practitioners in bureaucracy is to inspire our students to know your journey and to know the secret of success, which will help them to train themselves, to mold themselves in the right way, so as to be successful eventually. I once again welcome all of you and greet all the panelist guests to this event, a 3-day event. And Principal Sir is going to join us, sometime around 5 o'clock. Before we wind up, I hope he's there to bless you. He was very happy to have received your wonderful e-invite, which of course, yeah, I gave him the hard copy, which he was very impressed about. Thank you very much. Thank you, and all the best for this annual event, Pragyan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your generous words. It really boosted our confidence, and like hostel news is a great news, sir. Thank you so much. So, sir, now we would like to welcome the excellencies for this beautiful day, and I'm profusely overjoyed to take the opportunity to introduce our chief guest for the event, IAS Abhishek Singh and IPS Mridul Kachawa. IAS Abhishek, who is currently posted as Deputy Commissioner in Delhi, has completed his graduation from Delhi University and has secured All India rank 94 in his first attempt in 2011. He is the founder of Sigma, World of Worthy, and also assists various NGOs. He is the first IAS officer turned actor while being on duty. And moreover, he was last seen in B Prak's new music video, Dil Tod Ke, which garnered over 25 million views in just 4 days.
We will also be having IPS Mridul Kachawa sir here, who is currently appointed as SP in Karoli, Rajasthan. He completed his graduation from Jaipur and started his career as a chartered accountant. He was also a part of the Anti-Corruption Bureau in Ajmer and played a vital role in controlling crime in Chambal Valley. I, on behalf of my team, wholeheartedly welcome you both to our webinar on the topic of discussion, Roadmap to the World of Bureaucracy.
Thank you, Japneet.
Thank you so much, sir. So before we begin with this session, I would like to request everybody to kindly switch off their mics and, if possible, switch on their cameras to make sure that there's no disturbance created while this session goes on.
Thank you. So now we will commence with the panel talk by asking questions that are drawn out from various surveys of various aspirants. We will put up the questions to each panelist one by one, and later we will also open the floor to the audience to give them an opportunity to ask questions that they have been thinking about to help them navigate through this difficult journey. The officers will also help us get acquainted with their understanding of the examination and the methodologies to get success in this journey. I now request our moderators, Kritagya and Riya, to begin with the question-answer round.
Good evening, everyone. We welcome you all to the most awaited part of the evening, that is the panel talk. We will be asking the officers questions related to the preparation strategy and managing pressure throughout their journey, general preparation for UPSC examination, and questions that have fascinated us the most about them. We now proceed to the first round. So, my first question to both of you is, of course, the most common question, which is why UPSC? How and when was it that you realized that this was your calling and this is something you wanted to do?
Mridul would
Abhishek,
like to
sir.
answer first. Mridul is there?
Sir, I think there's some technical glitch on his part. I think it would be good if you can start.
Okay. So, why UPSC? I think before I realized that I have to do something in life, my dad already told me that you have to do this. My father was an IPS officer, so he wanted me to become an IS officer. And I remember in class fifth, I was giving this scholarship test. So, in that, there was a column that what do you want to be in life? So as a class student, as a child, I went to my dad and I said कि पापा इसमें ये पूछ रहे हैं कि what do you want to do in life? तो क्या लिखना चाहिए? So he just took the form from me and he wrote IAS. So I want to be an IAS officer. So I think since then, this has become my dream. So, and I never thought of anything apart from IAS since that day.
That was a very, very sweet thing, sir. um, your father did this and then it became your dream. Amazing, sir. We,
Yeah,
we can actually relate to it because a lot of our parents want to, see us getting to such a great thing in our lives and achieving
yeah.
so great. And yes, this is something very, very relatable.
Hmm.
Um, I would now request Ria to begin with her question.
Success in UPSC examination is a combination of right knowledge and right strategy. No doubt
Mm-hmm.
you have to prepare the topics in UPSC syllabus thoroughly. But you should also acquire few skills to perform well in the exam. Abhishek sir, could you give us your study strategies and tips that worked for you?
Okay, before that, I would like to just know that in this seminar, everybody is keen to prepare for civil services, or we have a mixed crowd.
So most of us are preparing for civil services.
Okay.
Some of us are even preparing for SSC and other competitive examinations. But yes,
Mm-hmm.
so we have a drive towards this side of education.
So this Junto society is dedicated to civil services only,
Yes, sir. Exclusively for civil services. It is
and
the Civil Services Society. Yes, sir.
and what does Junto mean?
So Junto was actually a club which was started by Benjamin Franklin, and it consisted of a lot of people from different backgrounds. There were
Mm-hmm.
even cobblers in it. Then there were librarians, different kind of people with different intellects, so different knowledge. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So
And what was the
all of
purpose of
them,
that club?
had extensive discussions on nation building, then about different things, or various forties, sir. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, to improve one's quality of life. Yes, sir.
Nice, nice. So you asked me the question regarding preparation. How did I prepare, and what should be the strategy? So I think before preparing for the civil services, we should first go through the syllabus. That what exactly do they want from us? So you should memorize the syllabus. You should read that syllabus again and again in order to understand that if you are reading a particular subject or a particular book, what exactly are they looking for? What exactly are the examiners looking for? That should be the first step. Second, then you make a foundation by going through books from 6 to class 12 in NCRT. So that is the basic foundation from where we start preparing. And then as we go along, uh, if people have joined coaching institutes or if they are seeking guidance from some of their seniors, so then they prepare a book list, a list of books which are supposed to be read for the preparation. One thing I would like to tell you that, you know, this exam, apart from testing your intelligence, it actually tests your sincerity and hard work. So, and also your perseverance. So mentally also you have to be very strong. You should not be getting bothered by the fact that so many people are appearing for the exam and so many we have just fewer number of seats for IS, IPS and other services. So these things keep coming to one's mind. But I think if we are on the if we have done our job well, if we have prepared well, I think we can overcome uh, these obstacles and these kind of notion, and sometimes these notions make us weak. So we will be able to overcome this.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. So there is a common perception that to crack the UPSC examination, one has to completely submerge themselves into books. How far do you think is it true, and what was your daily routine?
I think it's actually true. It's absolutely 200%. And my daily routine was first of all, I was not on social media. And I had switched off my phone. I just had one mobile phone जिसमें मेरे दोस्तों के ही phone आते थे. Once you are a student, so किसके ही ज़्यादा आएंगे. But I did not have a very big friend circle also. Though I was very social, but बहुत कम लोग थे जो मेरे close vicinity में थे. So unse bhi I really used to talk. And I would suggest you that, apart from thinking that you have to cut off from society, you have not to do this. So we should focus on positive things. We should see that how much syllabus is required to be covered, at what stage are we on, how many days are required for this particular book to be read. So all these things should be of prime concern rather than, thinking that I will not watch this movie today, I will not go out, I will not talk to my girlfriend, I will not talk to my boyfriend. So rather than thinking on these aspects, I think we should focus on positive aspects. If you make your schedule accordingly, I think you will not be able to find time for other things. And this preparation, actually, there's a so you should understand that people are really, really working hard. And if you are not at par with them, then I think you'll be left behind. So I think the only thing that I used to do during preparation was to eat, sleep, and study. That's it. There was nothing else that I could think of.
Thank you, sir. I think most of us really wanted to know about this. Uh, my next question is, this is the age when we have a lot of pressure to achieve our goals, and at the same time, we undergo a lot of emotional turbulence, which eventually leads to anxiety, dilemmas, and mental health issues. So,
Yeah.
considering the importance of mental stability required, how did you maintain that during your preparation?
My dad had introduced me to yoga. So I try to do yoga first thing in the morning whenever I used to get up, though I used to practice only for 10 minutes. I used to do only pranayam, that is breathing exercises. But yeah, even after doing these exercises, you sometimes feel that, life might not be the way you want it to be. And then what next? If you are not able to crack UPSC, then what will you do? So all these thoughts keep coming. Now it is up to you how to, control your mind, how to channelize your thoughts. I would suggest that the more you get engrossed in the preparation, the more you get engrossed in studies, in your books, these thoughts, there will be no space for these thoughts to come. These thoughts come only when we think that if we had set up a target for today, let's say if I have to read 50 pages or 100 pages of a particular book, and we are not able to achieve that, then at night we'll be thinking, yaar, aaj to hua nahi. Prepare. And if this doesn't happen, then what will we do? So we should also think of some alternative career. Mummy, Papa kya bolenge? Dost kya bolenge? And people will make fun of me. He went to prepare for the IS, but he couldn't do it. So all these thoughts keep coming. So this is very normal. This is very natural. I think we should not strain ourselves in order to prevent these thoughts from coming. We should rather focus on preparation, and we should try to give our best, study as much as possible. I never slept for more than 5 hours during my preparation. So I used to study very extensively, and I was a little scared. There are so many people preparing, so I did not want to leave any stone unturned. So I studied a lot, and I think that that uh, the fact that I'm studying so much for so many hours, that gave me confidence कि यार मेरे से ज़्यादा कोई मेहनत नहीं कर रहा होगा. So if you get that kind of confidence, and so I think things will be easy.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. That was a wonderful insight. Sir, a similar question, which is what was your source for motivation? Because it is a very long, arduous, and a rigorous journey. So, how did you stay motivated and how were you always on your toes?
I think motivation comes from inner strength. मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ कि one should be one's hero. So आपको अपनी नज़र में अपना खुद का सुपरस्टार होना चाहिए. आपको किसी और को आइडलाइज नहीं करना चाहिए कि मेरे को इनके जैसा बनना है, वैसे बनना है. एंड आपको ये लगना चाहिए कि भाई जो मैं खुद हूँ वही सुपरस्टार है. सो यू शुड बिकम अ फैन ऑफ योर ओन सेल्फ. And I think that will give you a lot of motivation, because then you will think that I don't want to let myself down. And since this is my decision, this is my journey, it has to be the best. So motivation should come from looking inwards rather than looking outwards.
So from your both previous answers, we can understand that both physical and mental health are important during preparation time. So my next question is regarding prelims. Lakhs of aspirants prepare and appear for UPSC examination every year, and many of us anticipate various aspects of the exam. UPSC has been asking more dynamic questions in recent years. So, sir, how do we decode such questions smartly with the finite knowledge that we have?
I think for that one needs to be aware. One needs to be very open to ideas, and one needs to be curious about things that are happening in the vicinity. So, if, for example, you are reading a newspaper report in which it is written that farmers ne, dharna diya hai government ke against, so then you should try to get deeper into that news article, into that incident, and you should try to build your own hypothesis, your own theory, that why is this happening? That is it actually because they don't have a voice? What are they feeling exactly? Or they are not able to understand the provisions of the bill, or there's something else. But you should think over a news article. If you're reading a book, if you're reading a chapter, after finishing the chapter, I think you should focus and you should try to understand and analyze that particular article in deep. That why is this article written? If you want to extrapolate certain things from this article to some other article, to some other field, वो आपको I think the more you focus, the more you analyze, the more you will become aware, and your answers, your response to the questions will be 100% different from others.
So my question to you, sir, when it comes to mains answer writing, it requires a lot of practice. How does one enrich answers? And is there any exclusive study material that you would recommend us?
I tell you, answer writing is an art. And as the saying goes, that practice makes a man perfect. So the more answers you write, the more the better you will become in terms of articulation, in terms of usage of words, in terms of being brief and in terms of being precise. So I would recommend. I used to write one answer daily. So I would recommend every one of you to write something daily. You write one short answer daily, long answer daily, or an essay or something. But you should keep writing. This basically, the exam is testing your writing capabilities, your how expressive you are. So I think you should focus. You should practice this every day, and that's will also gain confidence, and show it to your seniors, to your teachers, to your colleagues, to your sister, brother, everybody, and seek their opinion. That I have read this topic and I have written one short paragraph on this topic. Just see whether it is different from what you have perceived till now. Is it all encompassing? It is covering every aspect of this particular topic or not? So this, I think, one should do daily. And even in this will help you even in your normal social life. You will become more articulate. You will be more precise in your usage of words. Your communication skills will get improved. So I think so in any case, even if you're not preparing for civil services, even if you're preparing for some other exams, I think in life, the most important thing is communication skills, no matter in which stream you are in.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one of the challenges that come in picture is ground level implementation of government schemes and policies.
Mm-hmm.
For this, for this, we feel that bureaucrats have the most important role to play.
Mm-hmm.
So we would really want to know how you were able to overcome this challenge and being successful in touching and transforming lives.
No, sorry, I missed the first part. What did you say?
So one of the challenges is that implementation of government schemes and policies is really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And for this, we feel that bureaucrats have the most important role to play. So, sir, we would really want to know how you were able to overcome this challenge.
See, this is a challenge which is a continuous challenge. You don't overcome it and then you kind of conquer it and you proceed. It's not like that. It's a daily challenge. And every day, whatever we are doing, we are facing challenges. The only thing is that we need to focus on the result, that what exactly is the intent of the scheme and how are we going to achieve it. If you are able to focus on that rather than rules and procedures, I think things will start moving. What most of us do is that we try to see whether the scheme is falling within the provisions of the law, within the provisions of the policy, and we tend to forget the larger picture. So I think we should have that larger picture in mind, and we should use all the stakeholders in implementing a scheme. So we should also take the help of citizenry. We should take the help of NGOs, civil society, student groups. Everybody should be involved, and basically, the government is not something else. I mean, it's a part of the community. So that community ownership should come. So wherever I have been posted, I always try to involve the community so that whatever we are implementing, everybody thinks that it is for their own good. On the same lines, I started this initiative of World of Vardi, in which revamp the police stations of our country with citizens' help. So we are not looking for funds from the government. We are looking for citizens to come forward and to help us in rebuilding police stations, which will also give them a community feeling. अभी क्या होता है कि if let's say if there are protests, people go and target police stations, bus stands, public properties. I want to change that feeling because they think that this is somebody else's property. It is actually their own property. So why are you vandalizing your own property? Why are you destroying your own property? So this feeling has to be there. So somebody should come forward and tell them, look, this is your police station. It is for your good. We are merely caretakers. We come for a day, we move on the other day, and there will be somebody else sitting on that chair. But the property, but that institution belongs to you. It belongs to us. It belongs to me also in the same measure. It is, I have greater ownership over that institution. You have lesser ownership.
Thank you, sir. This tells us that how community level involvement is important.
Yeah.
Sir, I would now like to welcome Ridul sir. He is amidst us. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, guys. First of all, apologies for joining late because of some technical issue. I was not able to join on time.
We understand, sir. It's okay.
So,
I would request Japneet to kindly welcome, sir.
Yeah. So, just as Prithagyadi said, we also have IPS Mridul Kachawa sir here, who is currently appointed as SP in Karoli, Rajasthan, and he completed his graduation from Jaipur and started his career as a chartered accountant. He was also a part of the Anti-Corruption Bureau in Ajmer and played a vital role in controlling crime in Chandigarh Valley. We wholeheartedly welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Japneet. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Prithagyadi, you can continue with the panel talk now.
Certainly.
Hello, Mridul.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Sir, perfectly fine.
Sure, sir. We are now beginning with the question round again. Ridul sir, we would like to ask you, what was it that actually made you achieve this goal? How was it that you realized that UPSC is your goal?
Well, actually, after I completed my CA, I was not a person who wanted to go to a corporate job. But eventually, I landed into a corporate job. I was working as a portfolio investor in Mumbai, and so for working about 1.5 years in Mumbai, I was not satisfied as to what I was doing, and so I wanted to do something bigger, and that inner satisfaction was not there. So my father advised and guided me that I must go for UPSC because you are certainly in touch with the public, and you can do a lot for the public. You have a lot of potential that the service gives you, and that what my father thought it will give me that inner satisfaction. So that was my initial motivation to pursue UPSC.
Right, sir. That is certainly very inspiring. Sir, I would love to know your strategies for cracking preliminary and mains examination.
See, my strategy was very simple. I used to keep all my studies, all my preparation very simple, not go into much details or complicate things. Because at times we often tend to complicate things. We get entangled with a lot of notes and publications and advices and everything. So I try to keep it simple. I had a very minimal set of books and notes which I used to revise every time when the subject came up. So my strategy was keep it simple and let your mind be clear about what you're reading, what you're consuming, because as we all know, when we prepare for UPSC, there's like a flood of information or flood of notes, or you can call books. So one needs to be very aware of what we are studying, what we are reading, what we are keeping in our this study books. So one needs to be very clear about it.
Right, sir. Sir, one utmost important question is, it is generally said that we are a generation of happy faces but sad hearts. Youth today, is talking about mental health, talking about depression, anxiety. In such phases of life, or in such on such bad days, I'd call that, how does one stay motivated, and how does, in general, one stay happy with his or her life?
See, my simple funda for this question would be just believe in yourself. Whatever you're doing will certainly reap some benefits. Maybe not now, maybe not immediately, but at a later stage. You need to have patience and you need to believe in yourself. And another thing which I personally feel that youth of the day, they have a lot of expectations from themselves. One must have expectations, but not too much. We must keep our expectations grounded, keep working hard, and believe in oneself.
So, I would just like to place a request if you could switch on your camera. It would be great to see you, sir.
Okay, I think it's on.
No, sir, we can't see you.
Hold on, okay. So meanwhile, while I sort out this technical issue, I
Okay,
would
sir.
request Kritigya to engage with Abhishek, sir.
Definitely, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So this is the last round of our panel talk. We would ask you questions that have fascinated us the most about you. So Ria, please go on.
My questions are now to Abhishek sir. As has already been mentioned, Abhishek sir, you know how you were drawn towards a field that is so different from your profession, and how do you manage both of your very hard pressing and absorbing jobs?
So, as I had said earlier, this happened just by chance. I was in Bombay for some official work, and there's a friend of mine, Mukesh Chabda. He is a director, film director. So he called me to his office to have lunch. He had just shifted to a new office. I went there, and so he said he introduced me to a few people. He said that these people are making a web series on Delhi police. So it just helped them with some inputs. So I said, fine. So I started interacting with them. And then one of them thought, and I think they thought that I'm an actor. So they asked me that, what is your profile as an actor? What have you done before? I said, no, I have never acted before. I'm an IS officer and I'm just posted in Delhi. So they said, oh, that's why we were wondering that how can an actor be having so much of insight about Delhi police administration? So I said, yeah. So then they said that, they have a role of a young IS officer in their upcoming web series. So would you like to do it? I said, no, I have never acted before. I don't know whether I'll be able to do it or not. So Mukesh, who's my friend, he said, acting is nothing but being yourself. So if you have to play the role of an IS officer, you really need to act. You just have to be yourself. And I think that should be the best acting. So I said, fine. So then they said that let's do a screen test and let's see how it comes out. So then we went for a screen test and they loved the screen test. And so that's how I ended up getting casted in Delhi Crime season 2 on Netflix. Then what happened when I started shooting for the web show, few newspapers carried an article on me that this is the first time that a real IS officer is actually playing the role of a real IS officer. So seeing that article, people from T Series contacted me that there is a song that we are going to shoot. Would you be interested in it? So I said, अब web series करिए तो song भी करके देखते हैं. How is the experience? And that's how I did the song.
Thank you, sir. Most of us were curious about this. My next question is, you have also put together an independent think tank, Sigma, which is working for the welfare of migrant workers. Sir, having worked closely with one of the most vulnerable sections of the society, how do you think this section can be strengthened and their condition can be improved? And what did your organization do to achieve success?
Okay. So in order to strengthen any section of the society, I think we need to try and mainstream them. Mainstreaming is the only way in which you can strengthen any particular section of the society. Now, how do you mainstream them? That is the challenge. So through Sigma, what we are doing is Sigma is basically the full form stands for Students for Involved Governance and Mutual Action. It is basically we invite students from all over the country, from institutes like IIM, IITs, and people who want to do something for the government, for the society. They want to contribute socially. So we are the first thing that for migrant laborers that we created a digital platform wherein the laborers can enroll and these employers who want to give them jobs, they can enroll, and we can do a matchmaking as per their requirements. So this is the first step. Second step would be certainly, of thinking of ways how to mainstream them. How can we engage employers, and we can tell them that, if you have a kind of permanency in these laborers, if they can be structured or organized in a better manner, in which they can also get better value of their labor, of the work that they are doing. And employers can also get benefited because they don't have to look for new laborers each and every time. So if you are able to achieve that, I think that should be the step towards strengthening this section of the society.
Indeed, sir. That is, your views are great to know on this subject, sir. Sir, now that we have known more or less about the journey before cracking UPSC, just out of curiosity, a lot of us, generally think of what if an honest officer, an honest IAS or an IPS officer faces a kind of political pressure or dilemmas when he or she is taking certain decisions, and then even when his or her ideology clashes with the topmost officials. How does one deal with this, sir?
So I like that term that you use, that how an honest officer feel political pressure. I think honest or dishonest, I don't think there is this kind of a situation exists that there are officers who are dishonest also. I don't think so. Because, this exam tests your merit, your strength, your intelligence. And I don't think that after coming to the service, anybody would be trying to do something which is not towards nation building, towards helping the society. And I haven't come across people who are like this. There might be situations in which people are not able to help others, but I don't think that this kind of a thing exists. It's largely the perception about officers, about politicians are very negative. But what I have experienced in my career so far, that people are actually very well intentioned. It's just that politicians try to ask you to do something which might not be in consonance with the prevailing policies or prevailing rules. And if you are not able to do it, then obviously they will get angry and they will try to think, they will think that you are not trying to do their work. They think that you are trying to become an obstacle towards helping the society. So I think the best way is to try to understand their intent and try to make a way in the existing policies, in the existing ecosystem. How do we navigate and how do we get the work done which they want to get done? I think 90% of the times they want genuine work to be done. 10% of the times, few people don't understand what are the policies, what are the nuances, how to get done, and they try to, build pressure on you कि आप इसको करके ही दो. But I think if an officer is very well versed with the policies, if he is well intended, if his emotional quotient is high, if he is able to deal with the politicians, with the stakeholders, with his own superior officers, I think he can do a lot. So I think the correct orientation is required.
Okay, sir. So that was exactly what I was looking forward to know from you, sir. Ridul, sir, would you like to answer any question?
I would largely agree with what Abhishek sir had discussed already. And I would like to tell you with my personal experience that politicians are sometimes, not briefed properly. There is a lack of communication. And when this thing happens, they might try to create some discomfort for you. But if they know that the officer is upright and he's well versed with whatever the work he's doing, he's well versed with the policy of the government, and his intent is clear. So,
Your mic is off, sir. Could you
Okay,
please?
sir. Your mic is off, sir.
hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So I would largely agree with what Abhishek sir had recently discussed. And I certainly agree that, yes, there is a level of political intervention that one civil servant faces during the course of his service. But the politicians also are at times not communicated properly. There is a lack of communication that occurs between the officer and the politician per se. So I personally feel if there is a good communication between the officer as well as the politician, I don't think that there would be a problem. Plus, if the officer is upright, well versed with his work, well versed with the policies of the government, and his intent is clear, the politicians don't, fiddle with the officers much.
Definitely, sir. So now I have a set of questions for you that we all are very curious to know. So my question is, you have served as the SP of the Anti-Corruption Bureau, Ajmer. Working against corruption, how deep do you think corruption has penetrated into the society? Do you think that common people have become more aware and vocal about it? And what we as students who want to be civil services of tomorrow do against corruption?
Okay. So my experience with Anti-Corruption Bureau was a very short stint. I had 6 months of stint with the Anti-Corruption Bureau, and I must say that Rajasthan's ACB is one of the strongest compared to their other counterparts in the other states. And I certainly had a good experience there. And again, I would say it's a matter of perception, because a lot of times people don't come up with the complaint, because a lot of times the corruption that happens at major level is collusive corruption. So the person who is bribing a certain person, or be it politician, be it officer, or be it anyone, so they are collusive into that act. So they wouldn't like to complain about it, because both of them are reaping the benefits of it. And we as a society, we need to make our integrity right, and we need to think right. And the upcoming students, civil servants, they also need to think that what we deliver as civil servant, or as the future of the country today, will certainly be the result that we are going to reap in the coming future.
Definitely, sir. So you came out as a hero when heroically you caught a large number of dacoits in the behests of Chamba.
Kritika, your mic is muted.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, so you came out as a hero when heroically you caught a large number of dacoits in the behests of Chambal. We all are very eager to know about how this was made possible so courageously. And sir, also would you like to share one of the most interesting anecdotes of this mission of yours?
Yes, so for the past 7.5 months, I've been posted in Karoli. This area again is close to Chambal. It's posted as SP Dhalpur for about 1 year. And initially, when I joined the place, so it was there was a lot of negativity. It was in news because of a lot of negative reasons. So I was sent there with a responsibility that I had to restore the dignity of the office. So first thing I worked upon is building a team, because police as an organization is manpower based. So if you don't have a good team, it will be very difficult for you to work in the field. So the first thing I worked upon is building a good team. So eventually, as time passed, I was successful in building a good team, and we conducted a lot of good operations. And as everyone knows, it was a big success, and we were able to put behind around more than 50 of the top most wanted criminals of the area, which were wanted even in Rajasthan or the other part of the states, and even in Uttar Pradesh as well as Madhya Pradesh. And it was a wonderful journey, and not one, I have a lot of instances to share, but I would like to mention one specific incident where we had planned an operation late at night, and we had to raid a place deep in the ravines of Chambal, and but we didn't have much detailed knowledge about the place that we were going to raid. And the moment we got down from our vehicles, we straightforward received firing from the other side. So my team, there was a person named Sandeep who just pulled me from my backside and pulled me down on the ground. And immediately after that, there was a burst of fire. So I can never forget that moment. Had that person not pulled me down to the ground, it would have been a different story. So I still remember those moments, and it was a wonderful team, and I still keep communicating to them. And Dhalpur is one experience which I can never forget.
Thank you, sir. This was one, I feel, amazing part of your journey, and it has really inspired us a lot. A hero in real life, indeed. So, sir, now we come to an end of our panel talk. If there's anything you would like to share with us that hasn't been asked in the panel talk, please feel free.
Well, I'm open to questions.
Okay, sir. Abhishek, sir. If there's any message for us.
The message, I think, is to be happy, be healthy, and don't bother too much about about life, about career. If you are happy and healthy, I think things will start falling in place. The only thing which basically the only obstacle that one has is a sad mind, a distracted mind. And if you are able to keep yourself happy, I think you'll have enormous opportunities lying ahead of you, and you'll be able to see them and you'll be able to utilize them as well.
Definitely, sir. So, Mridul sir and Abhishek sir, thank you so much for this very, very enlightening panel talk. We have surely learned a lot, and thank you for all the knowledge that you have imparted to us today. I would now request Japneet and Shreya to
Yeah.
please continue.
Yeah, indeed, it was such a wonderful panel talk, and hearing you both, we can make out that your father played a huge role in your success. So, and I'm sure the experience and the encouragement that we have gathered from this talk will surely benefit us in multiple ways. So, yeah, so moving on, the floor is now open to the audience. Whosoever wants to ask questions from our panelists can put a dot in the chat box for the same, and we can then take up questions in that sequence. Okay, so Vanshika, you can go ahead with your question.
Good evening to both of you, sir. My name is Vanshika, and sir, whenever I heard the connotation lambasna, I always skip a beat, heartbeat, and I always get goosebumps. For motivation for an aspirant, it is must to know the experience. Could you please tell us what was your experience?
Ridul?
Abhishek sir, please.
So, so experience was, I think it's a once in a lifetime kind of an experience when you are entering the gates of Labasana. And since as a student, when you are preparing, I think that is the biggest dream one can think of, entering into the gates of Labasana. It's a very emotionally charged moment for me, and when you realize that you have actually gotten through the exam, you have actually become an officer. It's certainly a very elated feeling, very beautiful feeling, a very happy feeling. So yeah, and I think those memories, those moments will always be a part of my life, which they are permanently etched in the memory. So yeah, that's it. That's a very beautiful feeling.
And I must add that the best part, and I'm sure Abhishek sir would agree with me, the best part of your life as an officer is in the academy.
Yeah. Certainly, 100%.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so that was really enlightening, and that was expected too, I guess. So moving on to Aditya.
Good evening, sir. I have two questions if you allow. The first one. That many times all the students will have apprehensions about interview process. What happens when you get rejected, so and so. So I want to know from you about the interview process. And second one, should we go for coachings? Are they really important? Thank you so much, sir.
So the first thing is that nobody really gets rejected in interview. So you are only evaluated. So there is no concept of rejection. You are assessed on your skills, on your knowledge, on your personality, and you are given marks. You are not rejected really. And the second thing, the second question, what did you ask? The second question?
So I was asking that are coachings really important? If so, then when should we go for it? The second one was that.
I took coaching. I took coaching from Bajiram and Ravi, and I think it really helped me. It's an individual choice, but if there is something which is available, I think one should take that opportunity. Where coaching nahi hoti, then you are not doing coaching, then it's fine. But if coachings are there, so I think it's always better to take coaching and because they will facilitate you better. You will also find like-minded candidates preparing for the same examination, and a lot of things you learn through discussions. So I think one should join a good coaching. Mridul?
I would like to add to the second question. I agree certainly that coaching certainly gives you a direction, because as I said already, when you start preparing for UPSC, there's a flood of information, advices, and everything, whatnot. So coaching, I feel that it gives you a channel, a direction, and if you pursue it with dedication and hard work, you'll certainly achieve whatever you're wanting to achieve.
Correct.
Thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely. So it provides us guidance, just as you both said. So, okay, moving on. Shambhavi, you can take up your next question.
Good evening, sir. First of all, I wanted to ask that when you were asked about what was your preparation process, the first thing you said was that you should take a look at the syllabus. Now there are a number of people I have met who say that UPSC syllabus is everything under the sun, and that is sort of scaring.
I think if you'll go through the syllabus, then you will understand that all the important things under the sun are there, not everything.
So, sir, there would be some sort of pressure, like probably you have not achieved a goal somewhere, short-term goals as we call it. Probably you have not achieved the day's goal or the week's goal. So, how to handle that pressure?
I think the only way to handle that pressure is to work hard and harder and harder. That is how you're able to overcome pressure. I think your preparation gives you a lot of strength. It will give you a lot of confidence. The only way to achieve pressure, to counter pressure in lives, I think, is to work as hard as possible.
Thank you, sir.
Mridul, sir, you want to add something?
See, whenever people ask me for advice regarding UPSC, I always tell them that just go through the syllabus at least once and just absorb the syllabus, whatever it's saying, whatever it is demanding from you. Like Abhishek sir said, it is certainly not everything under the sun, but everything important under the sun. And once you absorb the syllabus and once you start preparing, you become confident day by day. And if you work hard, if you revise and practice enough, I don't think you will feel the amount of pressure that you feel will gradually keep reducing day by day.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely right, sir. So we have ample of questions for you both. So Ashish Bhatt, you can go next.
Sir, I have a question for both of you. Sir, you both have a very amazing personality, and sir, I saw your Instagram page, and especially Abhishek sir, I always take fashion tips from like your Instagram page, and also Mridul sir, you're very smart. So can you give any advice for developing personality and both physique and as well as personality for the interview too? Any good advice?
बताओ मृदुल.
First you said.
नहीं पहले बताओ. तुम बताओ पहले.
See, there's nothing much that you can make effort to create a personality or something. Just be yourself. Just be true to
exactly
what you are. And when you pursue and when you reflect what you are inside, I think that's the best thing you can do to yourself. And that's the best thing, the best way you can make an impact on the other person you're talking to.
Bang on. One should be oneself.
Sir,
I think that's the key. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Agreed. So moving on, Japleen, you can ask your question.
Good evening to both of you. Sir, I want to ask my question, like going through the preparation of UPSC is very tough. So how many hours you devote for your study, and after clearing the UPSC, like it is a long process of year and so. So after clearing this, like what you feel like it was. Sometimes you say no luck also is there, but how much in UPSC luck carries? Because many of the time I have listened in interviews like you hard work is there, but sometimes they said luck is also there. So how you agree with this statement, and how that after clearing your paper UPSC interview and going to Libasna, what was your feel? So please explain it. Some throw light upon that.
I think luck also favors people who work hard. And very the interesting thing about luck is things that we are not able to explain, we blame it on luck. So if somebody who we think has not is not up to the mark and he has made it through, but by our assessment we think that this guy is not bright, so we say that ये तो luck से चला गया, he's just been lucky. And if a guy is very hardworking and he's not able to get through by reasons whatsoever, we will say that he has been unlucky. So I think luck and not being so lucky is just a way to understand things. And if we are not able to understand the cause and effect relationship, we introduce a third factor called luck. But I think you should totally avoid that. You should focus on your preparation, on your strengths, on your passion. Never let the passion die. And I think everything will fall into place.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Great answer.
Midul sir, you want to add something?
I would just add a little bit of my 2 cents on it. It's just only think of luck when when you feel and you feel satisfied that you have worked hard enough. Just don't bring luck into your thought process. When you believe and when you're satisfied that I have worked hard enough, then only when you get the results, then you can give some credit to the luck. And just in case if you are having a tough time, don't blame it on luck. Work hard, be more positive about it. Just keep working hard. If there's something positive, yes, you can give some credit to the luck.
Exactly.
Absolutely true, sir. I guess everybody would agree upon to this. So, okay, Saurav, you can go next. Saurav Kumar, are you there?
Good evening, sir.
Saurav Kumar,
yes, good evening, sir. Sir, as in present scenario, sir, we can see that the prelims became very unpredictable to sell through. So, what can be the prelims specialists are taking newspaper into the consideration?
Saurav is not audible.
Sorry, I couldn't get your question.
Repeating again. Sir, as in present scenario, sir, the news that the prelims section became unpredictable to sell through. Sir, what can be the best way for the prelims, especially taking newspaper section into the consideration?
Okay. So basically, I divide newspaper into two parts. One is your traditional knowledge that you gain from the newspaper. For example, let's say Constitution. So if some article of the Constitution is being mentioned or being talked about in the news, so one thing of it would be the traditional thing or something that is already there in the book. The other part would be the latest issue on it or the latest information that is associated to that article. So yes, the traditional or the bookish part of it, yes, you can go through it from the books itself or your notes or whatever coaching you are getting. Second thing, the latest information or the current events that are happening around. You can, everyone has their own strategy. One can make notes, one can just try to memorize it as it is. One can, make digital notes, one can have cuttings, newspaper cuttings. When I was doing my preparation, initially I started making notes of the newspaper and then eventually making a monthly summary out of it and revising where I had. Certainly, the weightage of the current affairs and the current events for the prelims is increasing, and that is again a fact that it is very unpredictable as much as to what kind of questions will be asked. So I would suggest that one should keep himself or herself informed about the current events and the things that are happening around. Abhishek, sir.
Yeah, precisely. I think what Mridul said is that one should keep a keen eye on the things that are happening around, and that is how your answers will have a more enriching perspective from other candidates.
Exactly. So, okay, Saurav, I guess your question is being answered. So, moving on, Ayush, you can go.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, yes, you are.
Thank you so much, Japni Didi, for mentioning me, but my question is already answered. My question was to Abhishek sir, more precisely that, sir, what was the strategies that make you that make you qualify the paper in just first attempt?
I think it's only sincerity and hard work and confidence in your self. That's it. And the confidence will come only from hard work. I think hard work is the key to everything.
Right. So, okay, Ayush, if your question is answered, we can move ahead. Next is Sparsh Sharma. Sparsh, are you there? Yeah. Sparsh. Yes, you are.
Good evening, everyone. Take a question for that. How did you handle the becoming easy?
Sparsh, sorry to interrupt. You're not audible, so could you please type in your question in the chat box and I'll read out for you. Yeah, so moving ahead till Sparsh is typing. Rishika, you can ask your question.
Good evening, everyone. My question is that is it necessary that we need to read 6 to 12th class NCERT? Because I read the NCERTs 6 to 10th abhi tak, and I found it that 11th and 12th NCERT are more relevant to those syllabus, in my opinion. But I am also afraid if I am skipping those things, if I don't read them, is it okay to not read them? Because it's very basic, I think.
I think, Rishika, if ever you face a question like this in life, it's better to do it, rather than not doing it. So, it's better to do things and then regret rather than not doing things and regret in any aspect of life. So, I would recommend that you should study NCERT from class 6 to 12.
Okay, and my second question will be that many of the officers have started with the Hindu newspaper, and then after prelims changed their newspaper to the Indian Express. So I wanted to know that in what perspective or in what ways, why they do this thing, or is it necessary that we can change the newspaper or just start with the Indian Express newspaper?
No, not change. I think they added Indian Express also.
Okay. So it's basically like the Hindu also.
Yeah. There's always addition in the UPSC studying process. There is no elimination.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
I would just like to add to this question to the answer Abhishek sir had already given. That just be open to all kinds of sources of information, not just newspaper. Yes, certainly newspaper is one very important source, and you cannot neglect that aspect. But yes, other than newspaper, be open to other kind of platforms also. There are a lot of websites and portals that one can access to have a broader view, broader picture of the issue that is in question. And for the first question regarding the NCERTs that you asked, I would certainly say it all depends on the comfort level of a particular subject that you have. For example, one can be very well versed in geography, so he might not need to study all the 6 to 12 NCERTs. Plus, second thing I would say, yes, there are certain notions about UPSC preparation, and NCERT is certainly one. But as Abhishek sir already told, it's better to go through it rather than just deciding it before without doing it.
Right, sir.
Thank you,
So, audience, because of time constraints, we are taking our last 3 questions for today. So, Ria, you're the next one.
Good evening, sir. So when we got your confirmation for the fest, most of us, I think many of us stalked your social media profiles, not to mention mostly girls. So sir, I wanted to know about your, and I got to know that Mridul sir likes horse riding. So sir, I really wanted to know about your hobbies or extracurricular activities that you had in past.
Abhishek, Nani, you answer first.
See, my hobby mostly includes outdoor activities. I am an avid sportsman. I was into basketball throughout my career in school, college, and even after that. And so, any kind of outdoor activities, I'm up for it. As of now, recently, I'm into horse riding, trekking, hiking. And Abhishek sir must agree that the kind of service that we're into, when you're posted in different districts, hobbies keep changing. So
Yeah, exactly.
if I have access to like jungles or wildlife, for me, Ranthambore Tiger Park is close. So wildlife becomes a hobby, and you read a lot about it. You learn new things about it. So there are certain hobbies which keep changing, and one acquires new hobbies according to your postings. And then certainly there are hobbies which are permanent. For me, it's outdoor activities. Abhishek sir.
Yeah, same here. I agree with Mridul's point that with our postings, our hobbies keep changing because of the kind of exposure we get in different postings in different places. So I think, and it's good to have as diverse hobbies as possible, so that you get flavors of life. And there's just one life. We are not going to come here again. So explore as much as possible, do as much as possible. I like to read books. I like to, work out in the gym. I like to swim. I like to travel. I like to meet new people. I like to socialize, and my social circle is very diverse, from actors, cricketers, to politicians, to industrialists, to technicians, to IT guys, to doctors. So, and I think it always benefits you. It helps you evolve better as a human being. It also makes you more open to ideas. It broadens your horizon. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, sir.
I guess this was something new for all of us to hear. So, Pankaj, you can go next.
My question is for Abhishek, sir. So, when is the second season coming up?
I think it should come somewhere around April. That is something which Netflix has to decide. So it should come somewhere around April.
Eagerly waiting for that.
Thank you.
Okay, so our last question for today is Sambhav, you can go next.
अभिषेक सर को भी नमस्ते और मृदुल सर को भी नमस्ते सर।
नमस्ते संभव।
मेरा सर कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है, बट मैं कुछ डेडिकेट करना चाहता हूँ। आई राइट पोएट्री एंड वही 4 लाइनें आपके लिए भी लिखी हैं और उनके लिए भी लिखी हैं, एंड इट इज समथिंग जो कि इमोशंस है, मेरे इमोशंस है। तो अगर आप तक पहुंच जाएंगे तो दैट वुड बी लाइक अ ग्रेट थिंग फॉर मी। सो मैं कंटेक्स्ट बता देता हूँ, पहले आपको डेडिकेट करूंगा फिर सर मृदुल सर को, तो पहले अभिषेक सर को। तो सर कॉन्टेक्स्ट ये है कि जब मेरे को पता लगा कि यू आर कमिंग टू ग्रेस आवर फेस, तो उससे पहले मुझे सीरियसली, आई एम ऑनेस्टली स्पीकिंग, कि मुझे नहीं पता था कि अभिषेक सिंह इज एन IAS ऑफिसर एंड हु इज आल्सो ब्रिलियंट एक्टर, क्योंकि मैंने फिर पूरा वीडियो देखा वो दिल तोड़ के, दैट वाज ऑसम। तो फिर मुझे पता लगा, उसके बाद जब ये पता लगा कि आप फेस्ट में आ रहे हैं, तो आई रिसर्च फ्रॉम वेरियस सोर्सेज, गूगल करा, इंस्टाग्राम पे देखा आपके पेज पे अभिषेक एज इट इज, दैट वाज द, तो सब कुछ देखा। मैं मतलब ओवरवेल्ड हो गया, दैट वाज लाइक ह्यूज इंस्पिरेशन, a person who is an IAS officer, such a big personality, और साथ में एक एक्टर भी है, और दोनों मतलब ऐसी चीजें हैं कि एक क्लाइमेक्स होता है, बीइंग एन एक्टर और बीइंग एन IAS ऑफिसर, दोनों एक पिनेकल है। तो फिर जो भी पता लगा, एंड जो मैंने लिखा है बिल्कुल ऑनेस्टली, इमोशंस है उसके अंदर, सो आई एम जस्ट गोइंग टू रिसाइट, कैन आई
प्लीज।
बहुत देर से आपका पता लगा, दैट इज आई एम स्पीकिंग बिकॉज मुझे देर से पता लगा, बहुत देर से आपका पता लगा, मगर जब लगा बहुत लगा, इतना इतना कि अब पता लगने का पता न होगा। दैट वाज,
क्या बात है।
एंड नाउ फॉर मृदुल सर, इज एन IPS ऑफिसर, जो कि मतलब कह सकते हैं कि वो, उनसे एक जोश मिलता है। और मृदुल सर सुन रहे हैं?
बिल्कुल सुन रहे हैं।
नमस्ते सर।
हेलो, हाउ आर यू?
आई एम फाइन सर, एंड यू?
सुनाइए।
जी सर। सो सर मैंने हिंदी में लिखी है 4 पंक्तियां आपके लिए भी, जैसे सर के लिए लिखा।
बिल्कुल सुनाइए।
तुम जान हो जहान के, तुम जान हो जहान के, भुजाओं में फड़कता जोश हो, तुम जान हो जहान के, भुजाओं में फड़कता जोश हो, तुम रक्त में आग हो दौड़ता, तुम रक्त में आग हो दौड़ता, प्राणों में बसता जोश हो। थैंक यू।
क्या बात। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू सर।
It was a beautiful poetry, Sambhav. So I guess both of you had cleared all our doubts and made us crystal clear about everything. So Shreya, over to you.
Excuse me, Japneet. Can I ask one last question, if you don't mind?
Continue.
Yeah, so actually, sir, good evening. I had one question in my mind. So whenever we get into the preparation or we think of going into UPSC, the first question that strikes our mind is that not strikes our mind. Actually, we're asked to develop that attitude, that perception, that mindset, that is of an officer. So how can we develop that? And I mean, that is only the thing that is going to guide us further. Can you please put some light on it?
बताओ मृदुल।
सर आप पहले।
मुझे लगता है एटीट्यूड ऑफ एन ऑफिसर तो ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं है। आई थिंक एन एटीट्यूड ऑफ अ सिंसियर स्टूडेंट, सिंसियर हार्ड वर्किंग स्टूडेंट, जो काम दिया गया है वो करना है, और जो एग्जाम में आना है वो पढ़ना है, बस वही एटीट्यूड होना चाहिए, और कुछ ऐसा अलग नहीं होता। ऑफिसर्स भी तो हम जैसे, हम कल स्टूडेंट थे आज ऑफिसर बन गए, तो कुछ ऐसा कुछ नई चीज नहीं मिलती हमें। इट्स द सेम प्रोसेस। धीरे धीरे हम उस प्रोसेस में ढलते जाते हैं आगे, और जैसे जैसे सर्कमस्टांसेस आते हैं वी ट्राई टू अडैप्ट आवरसेल्व्स, बट देयर इज नथिंग दैट यू ट्राई टू बिकम समथिंग एल्स। ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। आई थिंक जैसा मृदुल ने पहले भी बोला था, यू जस्ट बी योरसेल्फ and have confidence in yourself, work hard, be sincere to whatever you are trying to achieve in life, be honest to yourself, and things will fall in place.
Thank you, sir. That was such a great answer and guided me.
I would now request. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please continue.
Please continue.
Okay, sir. I would now request Yugal to ask his question. Yugal is one of our society members and he has a query. Please go on, Yugal.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. Sir, I have a question to Mridul, sir. Like, you were CA before you appeared for the civil services exam. So, I want to know if your optional is commerce and accountancy, and we have very less studies available online also, and very few guidance available for that subject. So, can you please throw us on light if your optional subject was commerce and accountancy?
Yes, my optional subject was commerce and accountancy. When I had started my preparation, I had started with two subjects because 2013 में ये introduce हुआ था, and I started with PABAT plus commerce accountancy. And then when this one optional scheme was introduced, I chose to decide commerce because that was my forte, and I was very comfortable having that as an optional.
Okay, sir, what was your strategy regarding that for subject? Like there is no guidance, मतलब very less guidance available for that subject. So how did you go for that
Certainly,
subject?
certainly, I would agree that commerce being one of the lengthiest optional and lack of material that is available around us is very limited. But again, one point I would like to highlight that UPSC में optional commerce जो है, so that only asks you difficulty level of the graduation level. Okay, so it's not going to ask you things which are very difficult or things which are of CA difficulty level. So it's very easy and subject based. So you need to be focused upon the topics, the subjects that are there. And again, I would highlight the importance of the syllabus. That go through the syllabus at least 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, and absorb the syllabus. And just everything is in and around the syllabus itself. So if you focus on the topics, on the subjects, you'll find ample amount of material that is available. And any good book for undergraduation will be sufficient for your optional also.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Keeping the time constraints in mind, sir, one last question of the evening by Isha.
Good evening, sir. So I would like to ask that nowadays we have seen that people are coming after being in various other fields like law or chartered accountant as per you. So, sir, my question is that giving any edge in UPSC as compared to the other graduation student?
Certainly, I would say that yes, it gives you an edge. It gives you an understanding of the particular subject you are, expert in. For example, for me, commerce is I'm very comfortable with the economic offenses, understanding things which are related to the economic crimes. But on the other hand, if you're not having an expertise in a certain topic, does not makes you lesser officer compared to the people who are coming into service as simple graduates. So a person coming to the service as a simple graduate can do equally or even better than any subject expert. So it's altogether a different thing to have a subject expert.
Thank you, sir.
Abhishek, sir?
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir, you would like to add something?
It was great interacting with you guys, and I hope जो भी आज का session रहा, I think it would help you in going forward in your career, in your preparation, and in life in general. The only advice is that the key to everything, key to counter depression, the key to counter bad luck, the key to counter negative feelings is practice, work hard, do as much as you can, be sincere in your efforts. I think that will counter everything, and eventually you will find happiness and success.
Thank you so much, sir. So we have with us the principal of SGTB Khalsa College, Dr. Jaswinder Singh. So I would like to request you to kindly take over the virtual stage and address the gathering.
Thank you, Abhishek ji and
Thank
Mridul
you,
ji
sir.
for being with the students and for inaugurating this 3-day kind of festival which our society has organized. I went through the entire, in fact, question answer session, and it reminds me my own young days. When I do not know whether the rush and the aspirations for civil services is still as intense as it was during our days, because I remember my own colleagues. From Chandigarh, we had a batch of almost 30-40 students, and I think 12 of us they made it to the civil service. 3 of them retired 2 years back, and 2 more I think last year only, and some earlier. So they had very fulfilling career. They were very. I do not know whether you remember Miss Surina Chetal. She was in the Haryana cadre, and then Jyoti Arora. She is still serving in the Haryana cadre, and many of them, in fact, Priti Rao. She was from Andhra Pradesh, but she was a student there. They were all my classmates, and right from day one, when they joined University Chandigarh, the honor school, they had this thing in mind that yes, they will write the civil service. And I see the same enthusiasm in the answers of Abhishek and Mridul, both of them very accomplished people, that what you require is the basic faith in yourself. Mridul has repeatedly said that the confidence must, it should be in your actions, it should be in your body language, that yes, you believe in yourself. And let me tell you that, the amount of exercise and the strenuous effort that you put in, it does not go waste, irrespective of whether you make it to, IAS or IPS or not. But it gives you a lot of confidence because you make a summary of the entire nation. Abhishek was very right when he said that it's not everything under the sun, but very important things which we must be concerned. And this is exactly what the UPSC is looking for. That, it is not a very technical questions. I have been the question paper setter for economics twice, for economics. And only a part of it because they do not give the entire lot to one paper setter. So, it was basically, it reflects your involvement, that how far you are aware. Again, Mridul said that it is, the books are very important, but yes, of course, your overall awareness, reading your newspapers, your exposure to the society, and then, getting involved with the variety of people gives you a lot of confidence, and then involvement in various societies. For instance, this society, Junto, which I think is creating an awareness in University of Delhi, both in the Khalsa college community, but I find that many other students are also joining this group. So, this is what is required, that, and from the answers, you will find that it gives you a lot of confidence and satisfaction. Yes, you made it, but even if you have not, I see many people in the state services. I see many people as very successful engineers, and then very many teachers. In fact, some vice chancellors who could not make the civil service, but they became very popular. Some joined. Professor Deepak Nayyar, who was our earlier vice chancellor, he was in civil service. And he left that service and came back to teaching. And now, after his retirement as vice chancellor, he is in the board of governors of many universities abroad. 3 of them, in which I am also partly involved, those universities and in the United States. So he is writing for them. He is giving the guest lectures. Same as you can look at Professor Dinesh Singh, a very bright person. And yes, The family background, a lot of reading and the preparation that goes into it, it gives you a lot of confidence. And I'm grateful to Junto that you have created a platform whereby it is much more easier nowadays to, have the exposure with very successful people like Abhishek and Mridulji, sharing their experience and inspiring the young minds. This is what exactly our nation needs. It's wherever we are, wherever we can make some contribution, it should be noticeable and it should be positive. I think there should be no place for negativity in our minds. And this service, especially volunteer service, it requires you to be tolerant. It requires you to be appreciative of, others. You will come across many people with different dresses, with different colors of the skin, with different food habits, and different, our own personal habits and our social traditions. All of these, they give us a lot of confidence. If you go to the tribal areas, and all these people, the IPS and civil service people, they go to those areas and they are serving them. They are coordinating their efforts. They are making resources available to them, which have been earmarked for their welfare. So it's not an easy task. It's a very challenging work. And I think this is what inspires you that, yes, you should have the will to serve the society. It is not only the stars on your shoulders, it is the commitment to the society to bring about transformation, to make niche for yourself, which is required. And I'm sure, all of you with this passion will definitely, make us proud. And I express my gratitude to both the guest speakers today, Mr. Abhishek Singh and Mridulji, for sparing their very precious time. I know how busy an IPS officer can be, how busy a civil service officer can be, and they are here today. And I am also grateful to Dr. Nachiketa Singh, because it was his concept with the the students coming with the suggestion, and Dr. Nachiketa Singh providing them a platform where we have created this society. We shall be sharing with you some of the things which college is also doing. And I request Abhishekji and Mridulji that whenever we bother you in the future again, kindly make us available and do inspire the young minds. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Now, we would love to hear a few words from IAS Abhishek Singh and IPS Mridul Kachawa about their experience of today's panel talk.
It was a beautiful experience, and I'm glad that Principal Sir was there throughout the session, and he was going through the question and answer session as well, and he has very keenly observed each and every question as well as our answers. My only advice before going is, as we'd already discussed, is hard work, sincerity, confidence in oneself. Be more accepting. Don't be harsh to yourself. Understand your limitations well and try to overcome them rather than trying to avoid and not accepting and being in denial. That is the only way in which we can improve ourselves. Nobody is born perfect, and there is no notion of perfection. It's just people like us working hard and growing higher and higher in life. So it's basically your efforts, continuous efforts towards success, which take you forward. So this is the advice that I would like to give to the young students out there.
Noted, sir. Mridul sir, over to you.
First of all, I would like to thank each and every one of the participants as well as the principal, sir. It was very kind of him to stay for the entire session and say such kind words for Abhishek sir and me. And I'm sure, sir, under your able guidance, all the students have a bright future. To the students, I would like to say, just believe in yourself, be patient about things, keep working hard. Success will certainly come to your doorstep. And don't have doubts on yourself. Just believe in yourself. हाँ कोई भी चीज़ होगी, कोई मुश्किल चीज़ है, हम कर लेंगे. And this attitude will take you to far places. And you guys will certainly achieve all your goals, all your dreams. And my sincere best wishes to all of you. Thank you very much for having me here.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, it's been a pleasure to have you too.
Thank you so much, sir. We all feel like more energetic and boosted up hearing all this. Sir, we would love to hear something from Nachiketa, sir. Sir.
Thank you so much. First of all, thanks, Principal Sir, for finally making it to the session today. Because despite his very busy schedule, when he was, we had a meeting in the college in the morning, and he was there up to late afternoon, and then he went to some function, and he promised me he will be back, and I'm so thankful to him that he is finally back. And thanks for the kind words you spoke about me, sir. It's all because of your able guidance and inspiration we draw from you that we are able to put in place some kind of platform for these youngsters to have dialogue with accomplished great attributes of from the civil services. I take this opportunity to thank both Abhishek and Mridul once again for having spared their valuable time to be with our students today. And after listening to them, it was so very heartening that I feel that the nation is in safe hands. Listening to these youngsters make us the citizens feel so confident that yes, the bureaucracy is in the right hands, and you're doing a great job. We are really proud of you, and we want our students also to follow your path and serve the nation and contribute to the larger nation building process. Thank you very much. Thank you indeed.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So we are so obliged and we are overwhelmed at the end of this beautiful evening. So thank you all for being a patient and cooperative audience. I wish it would be a memorable session for all of us. Thank you, and we would also like to convey our deepest thanks to our society convener, Dr. Nachiketa, to the faculty members, Dr. Shashikant, Dr. Mushtaq, Dr. Biswaranjan, Dr. Vandana, Mr. Manish, and Ms. Parminder for being a constant support to the society from the very beginning and guiding us in every way possible. We would really like to thank everyone who has been a part of us today. And thank you. This session is